Good morning. Before we start the press conference, first, please change the format of your name on Zoom. The format is name/institution or media. 2, please stay on mute during our presentation. There will be a time at the end of presentation to ask and question. Om Swastiastu. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to today's press conference by Bali Hotels Association about Welcome Back to Bali website launch and the upcoming Sustainable Food Festival programs. This is the first BHA virtual press conference, and we are live from the virtual conference room at Grand Hyatt Bali. Thank you once again to Grand Hyatt Bali and Inspired International for your support for this event. This press conference will begin soon, and to chair the session, I would like to invite Agus Mahardana as our moderator today. Please welcome. Agus, time is yours. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Amrita. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, all of the media who are already able to join us virtually on this today's event, which is a press conference by Bali Hotels Association about the launch of the Welcome Back to Bali website, as well as the upcoming Sustainable Food Festival. The session today will have our spokespersons already joining us at the front. Please allow me to introduce our spokesperson of today's press conference. We have Mr. Jean Hellier, which is the chairman of the Bali Hotels Association. And then we also have Simona Cimenti from the director of the Marketing and Media Relations of the Bali Hotels Association. And also Mr. Kevin Gerard, which is the director of the Environment and Bali Hotels Association. The session today will be split into two different sessions. The first one will be a presentation talking about the topics of today's press conference, which is the Welcome Back to Bali website and also the Sustainable Food Festival. And then the second one will be a discussion session where we will open the question and answer. So if you have any questions during the presentation, please feel free to write down the question in the chat box and we'll address the questions during the Q&A session. So without further ado, I would like to invite the first speaker would be Ibu Simona Cimenti. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. BHA recognized early that to face the unprecedented challenges of a global pandemic, we needed a unified approach and a consistent voice for our members. While the world was not ready to start traveling again, we let creativity prevail and shared inspirational behind-the-scenes speaks, keeping those longing for a Balinese getaway informed about the steps taken by our local tourism stakeholders in the preparation to welcome visitors back to our beautiful island. Through engaging social media campaigns, BHA has followed our members every step along the way, from encouraging the introduction of new health and safety protocols to showcasing their efforts in adapting their service delivery to what we now call our new normal, all the way to supporting the rollout of the national vaccination campaign. Our objective was clear all along the way. Let the world know that Bali has taken all the necessary precaution and is ready to welcome you back. And while travel may not be or may not look as it once did, nothing can tarnish the joy of rediscovering Bali, one of the world's most sought after destinations, as confirmed by the TripAdvisor Traveler Choice Award of this year. Here is another day, another adventure, one of our videos. efforts are perfectly summarized in Bali, a new kind of adventure, a social media campaign featuring a series of engaging videos capturing the true essence of Bali through the storyline of a couple's daily island discoveries. The campaign
Recording in progress.
The campaign is deliberately destination focused, encouraging to travel responsibly while highlighting the cultural heritage, the distinctive landscape, and of course, the genuine hospitality that define Bali. Beyond celebrating the joy of traveling, the videos also provide access to a wealth of information, which we have summarized in Welcome Back to Bali, our latest effort to support the restart of international travel. I will now hand over to Melina to tell us more about our newest project. Thank you.
Thank you, Simona. Traveling in a pandemic can, sorry, we've just got a little bit of a technical glitch. Let me just go back to our admin. There you go, back to the PowerPoint. Yep. It always happens to the technical person. Okay, traveling in a pandemic can be a minefield. Making sure you have the right information to help you plan and navigate your way around the ever-changing regulations and situation, it can be quite a nightmare. This site, which has been put together by Bali Hotels Association, is to help visitors to the island of Bali navigate their travels responsibly. If you're planning a well-needed holiday, business trip, family visit, or simply returning home to Bali, it's for both domestic and international travellers to Bali. It's to ensure that the correct information is made available, information that is official and verified by our team. So let me take you through now to the promo. The site we just, sorry, we've got an echo. The site we've just presented to you today is a one-stop trusted information source. All the information that's presented is official and it's verified. And we only update it when we know that the government has implemented and made it operational. The Indonesian government puts out circulars, which is not really for direct travellers' public consumption, but somehow through the miracle of social media, it ends up being spread and interpreted out of context, causing confusion and often requiring the government departments tasked to present the information to have to publicly clarify it. We've presented the information in context to Bali only, and once we've verified it, it's in an easy to read format with both the original published date as well as the latest changes. You can also see the number of views and what's trending on the site. Just one step back. Thank you. Okay. So some of the most important information has been the changes in the community activity restrictions, as well as whether Bali is open to international travel. Next. You'll see there that the top 4 trending topics at the moment. So now I'm going to actually take you through to the website. Obviously, you can make your own way through the site, but I'm just going to highlight some of the key features. The site is available both in English and Indonesian, as you can see up the top. By default, it's in English. There are alerts available, so every time there's a change, we put up an alert. The most important one is obviously from an international perspective is the airport being open. So there's always a message about what that status is the airport itself is open, but it's not open to international arrivals. You can search. I'll just take you through. So if you want to search for quarantine, there's a whole list of results that come up, and you can make your way to that page. There are links to official sites as well. So all the government sites, the contact tracing apps, the health alert card that you need when entering, all the government regulations. That information can also, it will be shown whether it applies to international travellers or domestic travellers. There are key tips. It also can be shared by Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, WhatsApp, or by email. Trending topics also appear. We also have the latest campaigns, be they run by the government or Bali Hotels Association, that you can have access to, as well as all our social media. And where BHA continues to support the Indonesian government efforts for all of Bali. So I'm just going to go back to the PowerPoint presentation now. And on the next slide, we've sort of just had a bit of a soft launch, but it proved to be very popular with over 13,000 visitors, and you can see the top 10 countries that use the site. The site, being in Indonesian, has also attracted quite a lot of visitors from Indonesia. There is a definite spike in the visitor sites on the days that there are government announcements released. So we ensure that we have that information as it appears once we've verified it. Next. So Bali Hotel supports all the Indonesian government efforts, encourages all stakeholders to use this site. Businesses, communities, and the people of Bali. It's here for everyone to use. The information that we've presented sends out an accurate message at all times, and it supports the island's recovery. I'd now like to hand over to Kevin, who'll brief you about the Sustainable Food Festival. Thank you, Kevin.
Good morning. It's my pleasure to announce the launch of the Bali Hotels Association's first Sustainable Food Festival. Hotels have done an amazing job to further their approach to sustainability throughout this very difficult time. The Sustainable Food Festival is a great opportunity for participating hotels to showcase just what they've been able to achieve working closer together with local suppliers to improve quality and improve access to ingredients to showcase great elements for customers. whether it's organically grown vegetables, sustainably sourced seafood, free-range poultry, items produced on the island that might have not been done before. This is all happening right now in Bali. These items are now showcased on menus that are going to be available throughout the Sustainable Food Festival. While we are showcasing items of high quality, and you are invited to come into our hotels for this, we are also focusing a great deal of effort on reducing our impact. The goal is to have less than 10% of the waste created to be sent in residual form, with other opportunities such as composting, segregation, recycling, and even donation to local food partners to reduce the impact that we are having on the environment around us and on our island. We have positioned the Sustainable Food Festival to be accessible to as many as possible and created all menus to be at lunchtime, a maximum of rupiah 200,000 net per person and 350,000 net per person for a 3-course dinner. We invite you to discover the list of hotels that are participating. There are over 30 hotels participating at this stage in over 7 different locations, from Canggu to Legian, Seminyak, in Jimbaran, from Ubud, Sanur, and Nusa Dua. The Sustainable Food Festival kicks off in conjunction with World Tourism Day on September the 27th and concludes to coincide with World Food Day on October the 16th. To find out who is participating, you may visit baliismylife.com and visit the Sustainable Food Festival tab and discover all of the hotels as well as their menus and how to book to make it easy for you to discover what it's like to eat sustainably now in Bali. I'd like to turn it over now to Jean Hellier, our chairman.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you for the time. I really would like to thank officially all the press and the media for attending this event. Also would like to thank all the boards of Bali Hotel Association for the amazing work they have done to bring up to life these 2 different projects in a very small period of time. And finally, I would like to thank all our members for staying resilient during these last 18 months of crisis, and also supportive one with other. We wish this blog would be helpful to all our stakeholders and facilitate the fast return of our future guests to Bali. In the meantime, we hope to have the pleasure to welcome you to our hotels for the first Sustainable Food Festival in Bali, starting next week. Thank you once again for attending, and handing over to Agus. Thank you.
Thank you, John. So, ladies and gentlemen, there was the presentation from our spokesperson this morning. And now we are heading to the question and answer session. So if you have any questions that you'd like to ask in regards to the topics of the press conference today, please raise your hand and our operator will unmute you, and then you can ask your questions away. Otherwise, you can also type your questions in the comment box and we'll head straight to your question. Yes, I think we have one question. Please unmute yourself.
Okay, if you mean me, maybe.
Yes, you are. Sorry. I couldn't read your name on the screen. Sorry.
No, my name is Jürgen Steinmetz, and I'm with eTurbo News in Honolulu, Hawaii. And I know Bali for your background quite well. I've worked in Bali with Minister Ardika, for those of you old enough to remember. And we represented Indonesia in the US and Canada. So I'm familiar with most of your hotels. I stayed actually at the Grand Hyatt where you are many times myself. So it's exciting to know that Bali is going a step forward. Now, I looked at the country list and I missed the very first part of this conference. So maybe you already explained it, but I missed the country list of international visitors Indonesia is opening up to. Would you mind repeating the situation for international visitors?
Sorry. Could you repeat the question once again?
Could you repeating the restrictions for international visitors and your outreach for international visitors? I know Indonesia has been promoting domestic tourism extensively recently, what is good. And I understand from a list I saw, and this is just when I came into the call, where you list countries, including the United States and some European countries as opening.
Yeah. Well, if you could show up the presentation again, perhaps on the list of the countries, those are the countries that are visiting our Welcome Back to Bali website.
So does it mean visitors from these countries, you're reaching out to visitors from these countries to visit Bali at this time, or is this something for the future you're preparing for it?
Yeah, Simona, perhaps you could address.
Let me just jump in. I think we had a small misunderstanding. The list that we drew up, maybe we can put the slide on the screen from the presentation, is actually refers to our Welcome Back to Bali website. And this is the top 10 list of countries that are currently visiting the website. So it is not it is not related in any way to travel restrictions at this stage. This is simply to show that there is obviously an amount of interest to find out what the latest rules and regulations are governing the reopening of Bali in the future.
So I'm sorry, I don't mean to have a dialogue with you, but so it's Bali at this time is not open for international tourism. You're preparing for this.
That is correct. The government is currently in the preparation of reopening Bali to international tourism. At this stage, we are not open yet. There are 2 points of entry in Indonesia which are currently open. One is Jakarta and one is Manado, which are open for international air traffic. Bali is not yet amongst the destinations open.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome. My pleasure.
Thank you. Is there any other questions coming in?
If there isn't any other question, I'm sorry to be the only one asking questions.
No, please feel free.
I'm wondering, this is more like for another discussion, but besides from Itobo News, I'm the chairman of the World Tourism Network, and we're a global organization that started on the sideline of the ITB in Berlin in 2020 when ITB never happened. And currently we have members in the travel and tourism industry in 128 countries, including your Minister of Tourism in Jakarta was one of our guests. So this is just an offer from the World Tourism Network to cooperate with you and work with you on whatever level and any level to help you get your message out, maybe be a guest on one of our very popular Zoom events. Maybe we can even hook up with World Tourism Day, what we're celebrating. We have 3 events coming up within the next 7 days just on World Tourism Day. So we would love to include Bali. For me, Bali has been for many years a second home. So we really want to help and reach out to you.
Thank you very much. I think you can clearly see that the love in Bali sits deep. I think we would love to collaborate. I'm thinking that maybe an excellent opportunity, maybe also to share the efforts, our sustainability efforts as part of the food festival. So feel free to get in touch with us directly by email, Jürgen, so we can organize for a Zoom meeting. And obviously one of our board members will be pleased to attend, subject to the topic that is up for discussion.
I will definitely do this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then we have one question coming up from Mirella Panjaitan from Indonesia Expat. The question is, will this website includes local tourism information such as opening of attraction and etc.?
Thank you, Mirella, for your question. Our focus for Welcome Back to Bali is to provide information for travelers who are currently deciding to travel to Bali, and also to help them navigate entry requirements, including quarantine, testing, and any other documents that are required to enter the country, as well as what to expect when they're here. We are not primarily focusing on tourist attraction. There are a lot of different resources online that obviously will give more detailed information. So we're trying to stick to the official and verified information provided from the local authorities that relate to travel guidelines and protocols in Bali, getting into Bali, as well as during their stay here.
Thank you. I hope that answer your questions, Mirella. I think we still have time for some other Q&A. 2 questions more. Perhaps if anybody has any questions that you would like to ask, feel free to unmute yourself or type in the chat box and we'll address your question right away. Otherwise, if you later on have any questions after the press conference, feel free to get in touch also with us. You can drop the questions through email at agus@balihotelsAssociation.com. But we'd love to answer your questions at the moment if you have any.
I'm so sorry, it's me again.
No worries.
I'm wondering, how's the situation now in Bali? You have, of course, we're all going through this crisis. And since you don't have international tourism, how's the industry doing? How's the mindset of people? How are the taxi drivers? I always actually, when I was in Bali during several crises with the bomb attack, and I always try to get the opinion by taxi drivers, but not only taxi drivers, by the hotels. How is everyone surviving and coping with the situation right now?
I think like everywhere in the world, Jürgen, the situation has been obviously difficult. Bali has been affected since April, we can say March or April 2020. And of course, everybody in the service and the tourism industry has been trying to cope to the best of their ability with the pandemic situation. I think what sets probably Bali aside and the Balinese people is the incredible amount of creativity and the agility with how they have reacted to the situation. So people have obviously tried to find alternatives to bridge the time until tourism would come back. I think the current state of mind is very positive. We, and when I say we, I mean all the tourism stakeholders, we are obviously been preparing and getting ready for reopening. This goes from health and safety certification for all tourism activities, all the way obviously to following closely what the government regulations are with regard to reopening our destination. So I would say there's definitely a very positive and very excited vibe in the air at the moment, and we can't wait to welcome tourism back. I think that even applies to our taxi drivers.
Maybe John, you'd like to add something?
No, I think I mean Simona raised the situation very well and addressed the portrait of Bali right now in an authentic way. We really hope to have the pleasure to welcome back our tourists. We're working a lot also on the vaccination program, especially within our members, just to be ready. You can see Bali situation and the rise of vaccination that we have here. We are on one of the highest numbers of vaccination in all Indonesia. So we know it's a focus, and really would like to go with that and to be ready at the soonest. We are not the one who decide, but of course we are participating in the efforts and support the government actions.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Right. I think if there is no more questions, we can conclude the press conference for today. Do we still have any questions? Okay, no question. I think we should just conclude the presentation today. Before we end the session, we would love to do a quick group photo session together. So for all of the media who are able to attend us this morning, we would like to invite you to turn on your camera so we can have a group photo, a virtual group photo for the time being. Okay, please switch on your camera quickly. And I think we'll take off the mask for now, just for a quick group photo. All right, thank you so much. So again, I would like to thank you all for participating in our virtual press conference this morning, talking about the official launch of the Welcome Back to Bali website, as well as the Sustainable Food Festival. We know the time is limited, and thank you for all of the questions. If by any chance you still have questions to ask, feel free to get in touch with us. You can drop your questions to agus@balihotels.association.com, and I'll address the questions to the respective board members, and we'll get in touch with you with the answers. Again, thank you very much, and that concludes our session for today. I'll hand it over to Amrita to close the session. Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for your kind attention and participation. We would like to thank once again to Grand Hyatt Bali and Inspired International. Don't forget to follow our social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Bali is my life. And see you soon. See you again. Om Santi, 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 Om.